Hello, Diana.
Hi, Dr. Anna.
How are you today?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again, Diana. And it's my pleasure to be here with you and share this moment with you. And I thank you so much for being here and sharing with us your own experience, right?
I'm kind of anxious because it's my first time, and because I think it's a big responsibility to bring such a big issue and an important issue for stroke survivors, like is intimacy and sex. So I'm kind of anxious, but I think we'll do it okay. We'll we'll have a nice conversation.
When did you have your stroke?
It was in 2011 in June, on my wedding anniversary. It was my 12th wedding anniversary. I had a surgery, and after the surgery, I kind of felt bad with a bad headache. I was losing my strength, and I suffered a stroke. I was only 34 years old.
Hmm. So young.
Yes, it was a terrible thing to happen to anyone. But when you are 34, you were. I was investing on my career. I already had two children, one with 9, other with 7, and I have a happy marriage. But it was very difficult to struggle first to live, and then to get back, to get up again, and to do things by myself, and to be independent. It was, it has been, it was not was, it has been, because I'm I'm in rehabilitation since then.
Diana, intimacy and sexuality is a very private topic, and I thank you very much for sharing with us your own experience. And I would like to ask you about your experience with your body changes after your stroke.
When you suffer the stroke, it's not the first thing you think. It's obvious. But when you initiate a rehabilitation program, and I I had the opportunity to come out the hospital, and visit my husband in my family at home, and you miss those little things like an hug, a kiss, feeling a woman. It's all of that you are missing. Feeling beauty, feeling sexual. Okay, and it's an important issue, and I kind of feel um, I didn't know how to bring the topic when I was talking to my doctor, but I know it was an important topic. So first we talked about it with my husband. We talked about it because I was afraid of suffering, of having another stroke. I thought that maybe in the act, in the sexual act, I will feel bad and suffer the stroke. I don't know if anybody feels like that, but it was my first fear was suffering another stroke in the relation, in the act.
Hmm. So you were talking about your feeling of attractiveness. If you feel less attractive after the stroke with your body changes, right?
Yes, yes, it's true, doctor. Now that I think of it, I wasn't feeling totally woman. I was feeling like a young child who needs help to do his. I needed help for everything. So the first days I was using diapers, and it was my husband who changed me the diapers. So there is no sexual impulse in changing diapers. You understand it?
Yes, I do. It's a turn off. It's a huge turn off, right? So I
Yeah.
imagine that your eroticism suffered a lot. You are
Yes.
saying that you feel like a child,
Yeah.
but in a woman body, and
Yeah.
um, um, there are a lot of changes that you have to deal with, and
Yes.
it may have a very it's impact your sexuality, your
Yeah.
attractiveness, and also your eroticism, because
Yes.
suddenly there are a lot of turn-offs that interfere with your.
Changing the diapers, it's a terrible turn off. But for instance, in the first days, it was him that gave me bath. That is not a turn off. It could be an erotic, uh, yes, trigger, because you are standing on the bathtub, and it's good to feel somebody that you love touching you and washing your hair and
Mhm.
putting you soap. It's good to feel the touch. But for instance, when you touch yourself after a stroke, it's a different touch because your sensibility is not the same. You've got, for instance, if you've got hemiparesis, that is my case. I don't feel the left side the same side. I feel the right, and it it was like I was touching my left side, but my left side wasn't here. I was off Diana. I was off a woman, and sometimes I feel pain. I experience pain when you hug, when you touch the arms, and it's difficult to explain. But I think it's all relation with spasticity, which is a sequel of the stroke survivors. I think I don't know, but I think it is.
Yeah, spasticity, it's a topic that it's important regarding sexual arousal. But I would like to ask you first about your intimacy with your husband. It looks to be you look to have a very good intimacy with your partner. So how you overcome the difficulties, it also depends a lot on the level, on the quality of your intimacy with your partner. Is
Yes,
it right?
yes. I have a fantastic partner. We are together since we were young. I was only 15. He was 18 when we met, and we started dating. So we were both very young. We have been growing together and experience um, all, uh, all what is to experience in sexual life together. And when I suffered the stroke, it was like getting to know each other from the basis. Okay, he was afraid too because he didn't know how I felt. I was on a wheelchair. He didn't know if it was good for me to be on the bed with him lying on me. Um, we had to learn we had to learn how to love each other from the first point. Okay, I remember the first weekend that I could get out of the hospital. I was in a rehabilitation clinic, and sometimes on the weekend we could come home. And in that first weekend, our children weren't here, were on summer vacations with my parents, and he prepared all the romantic scene for me because I was very anxious because I was like a young teenager was in a in her first time. Okay, so we went to dine out, went to see the sea. We have a nice talk, and then we went to a quiet place. It was not our house; it was an hotel, and it was a very intense and beautiful moment because it was the first time that we look at each other, how I was, because I in that time 10 years ago I wasn't moving all my body. Okay, even my right side was not as good as it is today. I had very difficulties to lie on the bed by myself. It was him that helped me getting off the wheelchair and then sitting on the bed and then lying. Um, I, and it was, uh, I can say that we cried. We cried together because it was very intense and it was. After you suffer a stroke, you think, shall I live? Uh, will I get the chance of being happy and feeling a complete woman again? And then when you have the opportunity to be with the one you love and to to understand what changes in your bodies in your body occurred after the stroke, you started to get a new intimacy, to get new concepts of being sexually happy, and it's a great journey to do.
It's a huge journey. Rebuilding your relationship, rebuilding a new relationship with your body.
Yes.
Your all these aspects of self-image, and also rebuilding a new eroticism, a new erotic relationship with your partner.
Yes, and it's strange, but I never thought about intimacy with me, with myself. I never thought about it. I think it's a thing you think when you are a teenager and you are exploring your body, okay? But then you find a partner and it's. I stopped thinking about it. I didn't have time for that because I was working. I had my life. I had other priorities. But then I suffered the stroke, and I had many times, all the time of the world, to think about me. And thinking about me is thinking about my intimacy too, the intimacy with me, and
your own sexuality.
Yes, and it's great because I can say you that uh, I discovered a new kind of pleasure of with me. Okay,
Yourself.
I don't know how to explain this without any.
You are explaining quite well, Diane, and I thank you so much for sharing all this private, your private world with us. Let me ask you, did you have the opportunity to talk to your doctors about your own sexuality, about your intimacy with your partner, about self-image, how to rebuild the relationship with your new body? About eroticism, about sex with your sexual activity with your husband? Did you have the opportunity?
Unfortunately, Dr. Anna, I only found you a few months ago because when I really needed you, I didn't know there was a sexual therapist that I could ask for help. When I was on the hospital, yes, I talked with my physiatrist, I think it's like that you
Mhm.
say. And he told me, no, I don't understand that issue. I'm going to send you to someone that you can talk about it. So I was feeling anxious. Oh, okay, I'm going to talk with someone who is a professional, and he's going to he's going to tell me how are things going to through your sexual intercourse, whatever.
Mhm.
But it was not like that, because when the doctor saw me, it was a doctor. She told me, "But Diana, you are on a wheelchair, but you are feeling, you have movements, you you had a stroke, you had not medular, I think medular lesion. I don't know. You are not paraplegic, okay? You are not tetraplegic. Yeah, your
You didn't have injuries in your spinal cord.
okay. It's like that. Yes, it's like that. Yeah, I didn't. And yes, yes, I did. Yeah, I told the doctor, no, I didn't get an injury on my spinal cord, but I'm afraid of having another stroke. I don't know how the spasticity could interfere in the sexual intercourse. There are some positions that causes me pain, and I don't know if it's good or not good. If I should insist or not insist. Um, and I was only 34. It's natural. It's sex. Having sex it's a natural thing, and it's good for your health too, because people don't talk about it. But if you have a happy sexual life, it's you will be a better people, for instance, in your daily life, because you are happy, you are not with a headache, you are not hungry, and it's a good thing. I think it's a very big issue for people, ill people, to talk with their doctors. And my personal experience was awful, because the doctor let me feel like I was doing the strangest questions.
Yeah,
It was
I'm
not a
sorry
good
to hear
experience.
that,
It was not a good
Diana.
experience. Yeah.
Diana, I'm sorry to hear that because unfortunately, sexual health is absolutely neglected. But sexual health is an important dimension of general health. So, of course, your own sexuality, your sexuality with your partner should be. Um, Medical doctors also should be familiar with it. Medical doctors should take care of that dimension of your health.
I
But
totally agree. Totally
sometimes
agree.
it's difficult for them because if you broke an arm, they can fix it. Okay, if there is pain, they can help you, they can fix it. But if you broke your sexuality, how how to fix it, they don't know. There are difficulties on their side, they don't know how to do it. But there is something very important that they can do. Medical doctors and nurses and all the healthcare professionals, they can listening to you, right? And it's that important to make room for questions, and they always can listening from your own difficulties. um, I also would like to ask you, going back to the topic of spasticity.
Yes.
Spasticity may interfere with your sexual arousal.
Yes. And it interferes.
it,
And it
it, it
interferes.
does interferes, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Because when you experience spasticity, and when you are feeling kind of having a sexual arousal, your muscles tend to be very tense, and you could not move it and be natural as you were before the stroke. And it's a thing that you have to learn with the passage of the days and months and years, is how to live with spasticity and to get benefits of the spasticity, because you could get benefits of spasticity. You can, for instance, I was afraid of having a stroke because of spasticity, because I thought when my body was feeling that kind of tension and bending on myself, I thought this is a stroke, this is a sign of a stroke. No, it isn't. It's spasticity. You don't mind of that, and you relax. You have to breathe and focus on that thing you are experiencing. It's a natural thing for a stroke survivor, and you have to focus on your relation and how you feel about the sexual intercourse, if it's good for you, and exploring and touching how you can your partner, and experience the good side of being with another person, and don't bother about spasticity or what it causes on your body. But I can say with the passage of the time, I found out that spasticity could be a turn on for having an orgasm, for instance, because you can feel things with such an intensity that I don't remember experiencing that intensity before. It's true. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's quite interesting, Diana, because spasticity may be a distraction from sexual stimuli. So
Yes.
there is a cognitive distraction for sexual stimuli that is negative for your sexual arousal. But
Yes.
at the other side, it allows you new possibilities of sexual arousal.
Yeah, it's true. But you only learn that with the pass of the years. Okay, my stroke was 10 years ago, so I'm big steps forward for telling you that, because I know that I've been living with my stroke since 2011, so it's a long time ago.
So having a stroke, it's not the end for sexual pleasure.
No, it's not. And you could have a healthy and happy sexual life um, if you let your body feel and don't interfere with your head, because the emotions, if you let your emotions, your bad emotions, interfere with all, if you are thinking, oh, my partner is looking at me and is thinking that my arm is like that and it's not erotic. Oh, my partner is thinking that um, I couldn't do that position because I could. For instance, there are some difficulties in the first months after a stroke for you to sit or for you to get up, and of course there are some positions in the sexual relation that you can't do in the first months because you are not able. Uh, uh, I remember the talk with my doctor didn't went well, but I had a fantastic relation with my therapist, and I talked with them about what I was feeling when I was with my husband. Then, when I was having therapy.
Psychotherapy, you mean?
Aquatherapy, for instance. The therapist worked with me for me to have strength on my both arms, so I could roll on the bed by myself without the help of my husband, for instance, that I couldn't do on the first month, but now I can do. Okay, or to have strength on my arms, to be in another position, uh, different from lying down. I don't know how to explain that, because English is not my language, and it's kind of difficult to talk about a theme like intimacy and sex in another language.
I know.
Different from our Portuguese. You understand that because you are Portuguese too.
I know. But you are giving a huge contribute, a very positive contribute for all stroke survivors who are listening from you, because you are sharing with us in a very genuine way, Diane, and I thank you so much. And also because you are having a very rich, a very positive journey. And you have been putting a lot of effort along your own journey to improve your sexuality and to take the best and to rebuild a very good eroticism and intimacy with your partner. But I wonder, you would had liked to have healthcare professionals to talk about all these topics: self-image, rebuilding the new relationship with your body, your own sexuality, your eroticism, rebuilding the eroticism with your partner.
I think
all
it's
the sexual the negative thoughts and the negative emotions that interfere with sexual pleasure. And it looks like you have been in a long journey to discover your sexuality with your partner.
yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us
And
about?
before with my partner, with me, because it's very important to find out the sexuality with yourself, my intimacy. I had to learn how my body changed after the stroke, and it's the most important. I had to fall in love with me, because if you don't like you, how other people are going to to like you, to love you.
So it's a self-discovery
Yes,
that you need to develop with your own body, to discover your own sexuality, how to touch it, to discover the new stimuli. How does
yes,
it feel when you touch your skin?
yeah. Because after the stroke, your self-esteem is down. I was feeling the worst person around the world. I was not feeling pretty. I was feeling. I was with. I had the comfort of my and the support of my family, of my children and my husband. But I was feeling very alone, and I every day. Well, I thought, why me? Why I suffered a stroke? What? I'm going to be like this for every day of my life. I will not walk again. I will not bath again. Um, and it's a terrible. There are terrible thoughts that pass into your mind after the stroke. And it was my second terrible experience when I talked with the doctors about that and asked for psychological support. And I heard from general medicine doctor, but you are not schizophrenic. Uh, you are not insane. Why you think you need a psychologist?
Yes, Unfortunately, mental health and sexual health are still somehow neglected. But it's very important to have psychological support
Very,
and the
very important.
psychologists to help you to deal with sexual self-confidence, self-esteem, self-image, to deal with all the negative thoughts and negative emotions that are coming up, showing up. Um, and of course, that your own sexuality needs to be care needs you need to be take you need to take care of it. Diana, I know that you got pregnant after the stroke. I would like to ask you about how did you experience your pregnancy after the stroke?
It was a real blessing because yeah, I got pregnant. It was not 2 years after the stroke. Um, uh, I've, it was we were in June June 2013 when I discovered I was pregnant. And when you feel like your life ended up and it was not possible for me giving birth another human being, you discover that you have a little baby developing inside you, and it's the climax of the relation with between a couple, and it was a very happy moment of our life, not only for me and my husband, but for all the family and that supported us, and friends that were with us and that were experiencing how did we fight to don't let the stroke end with our marriage and with our life. It has been a real struggle to get up again and to fight stroke.
It's incredible, right? Because when you thought it was the end of your life, it was the beginning of a new life
Yes,
that was being generated inside of yourself.
Yeah,
It's a huge, it might be a huge experience.
Yeah.
So, Diana, I thank you so much for sharing with us your own journey in, in the path of intimacy and sexuality. Thank you so much.
Thank you.